What's up, guys? Jidum here. Welcome back to the channel. So today, I just finished watching the Walking Dead series about a week ago. So today, I'm going to be ranking all characters, maybe almost all characters from season one to season 11, the most important characters of the show, protagonists, antagonists, and I'm just going to be giving my thoughts on them. This list is not based on my list like Breaking Bad. You can check that video out if you guys want to. It's on the channel. This is not based on morality. This video will be about basically everything about the character, how good it was, how good the character was, the character development, the depth of the character, how good character development was, everything. Like I just repeated myself, the depth, the plot twists, the villainy, tyranny, or the heroism of the character. Was the character a bit too cheesy maybe? So let's get started. So we have like about one I have 5 tiers here. Goated for like a goated character, goated for a goated character, good for a very good character. Okay, this is like the worst tier here, because this tier means the character is basically like nobody cares about it, nobody thinks it's bad, or even though this is at the bottom, this is probably the worst one in my honest opinion. But it's just like it's okay, the character was there. Bad is for uh, a bad character, I guess you can say. Basically, it was not written. The character was not written well. There was no character development. That stuff like that. And basically, if the character makes bad decisions, we hate the character. Some characters are meant to be hated, but some aren't meant to be hated. Basically. So yeah, guys, let's get this video started. So the first character that we have here is Aaron, and I'm just going to be putting this man at goated. I don't care what anyone else thinks. His character development was actually insane. When he first showed up, I thought he was going to be another villain in season 5, and to just see him from going from that guy, that innocent looking guy, and then he went on to become like a badass with just one arm, with his weapon made out of a half sharp fist. I guess that you can say it like that. And this character is goated for me. Obviously, others think he's a bit meh, but in my opinion, his character. When Eric died, he got Gracie, and he decided to raise Gracie as his own. I think in honor of Eric, he did that, but I guess he would have done it either way. It was amazing character development, great character, very well written. They didn't make him where he was a bad guy or a good guy. You can just understand him at times. Okay, Abraham, I'm going to be putting him in okay. This is because we could have seen a lot more with Abraham. I feel like in the lineup when Negan killed him first, someone else could have taken it. Like maybe only Glenn had to die, since that's basically what happened in the comics, and his death is even worse in the comics, like much worse. He just gets that Denise got, but in my opinion, they could have done a lot better with Abraham. I also wanted to see him expand his relationship with Sasha a lot more. I wanted to see where that would go and what that would lead to with Rosita and Sasha. Maybe they would become enemies. Maybe Rosita would go insane. Maybe something like that. Some stuff like, probably not insane, but they could have done. He was a good character, but it's not his fault or the actor's fault. They both, the character was well written. They gave him a good backstory. That the fact that he was an ex-military member, and the fact that his family died, and Eugene found him when his family died. His mission, Eugene lying, they gave this character a lot of depth. His purpose, he lost his purpose, and then he found it again. So, in my opinion, so I think Abraham, they could have done a lot better with his character. That's why I could have. put him in bad, but the character's okay, but it's the writers who messed this up, in my opinion. Okay, so next up we have Andrea. She's definitely the worst character in the entire show. I think everyone can agree on this with me. And this is not actually the actress's fault for how she portrayed, or the writing was just unbelievably bad for Andrea. In the comics, she is actually Rick's love interest in the later seasons instead of what's that? Yeah, Michonne. He had two love interests, right, Rick, after in season 5 and in season 6 7. So I got them confused. But in my opinion, the thing she did, she was just a very unlikable character, and it's not even her fault they did this to her. The writing was so bad with her, I cannot even explain. The fact that she shot Daryl even though Rick told her not to, the fact that she got left behind, it's her fault. She could have escaped there. Actually, that's not on her, that's on the gang. Actually, what I was going to say is that it's Rick's, it's her fault that the governor lived, and her fault technically that Herschel died. If she had killed the governor in his sleep, then Herschel would have lived. Very many characters would have lived in the show. I think a domino effect would have happened. Maybe Martinez would have taken over and did the same thing, done the same thing. We really don't know, but in my opinion, she's the worst character in the entire show. So another character we have is Benjamin. I'm just going to put him in okay, because once again we didn't have him for long. Even his character development was very good, in my opinion. The fact that we saw him not being able to defend himself against the walker, and then he was able to use Morgan's techniques very well with the stick. But I just didn't see a lot that they could have done with his character. I guess that's the reason why they killed him off, because they also needed an arc for Henry. That's the reason they probably killed him off. Uh, that's his character was okay. It was not bad. It was not bland. It was just, you guys are going to see this a lot. Many characters are going to be going in this okay tier. I could have put Abraham in good, and maybe I might change that, but that depends. So yeah, Benjamin was a good character. He was not the best, but he was good. Okay, so we have another character here that is one of my favorites. She's Beth. They even though they her death was the by far the most stupid death in the entire show. Definitely, by far she had the worst death, the most stupidest, even worse than Carl. And I say that and I say that with a lot of certainty. Her death was even worse and more dumber than Carl's, and it's because she had a more of character arc, better, more character development left. I feel like what should have happened in the show is she should have killed Dawn, and then maybe she gets injured by one of the bullets, and then Rick kills and then she gets the treatment right then and there, and we see Beth being kind of put towards the latter half. Maybe she isn't the focus as much because she's recovering, and then while dangerous moment is happening, maybe the one with Jade is betraying Rick for the first time. We see instead of Sasha, it's actually Beth, and we see Beth not in the coffin, but Beth as a character, and she's been to Alexandria, and she's with them, and then she leaves all of a sudden. Maggie's searching for her, but Maggie thinks she may, but Maggie's searching for her, but is not able to find her, and then we see Beth kill one of Negan's men, and that just gives them enough time for Rick to get loose from Jadis, for Kai to take over and the tides to shift. But really, I'm going to be ranting a lot if I go into Beth's character. I'm just really pissed they didn't do more with her character. I'm just really, really angry. But it is what it is. She was a good character. She lasted a long while. And that's not what counts as being a goated or good character, how long they last, but how much of an impression they made. So so I guess I broke my own rule by putting Abraham there. But I guess his because his death was overshadowed by Glenn's, it still didn't matter how he died. And that's just the saddest part. So next character we have is Bob. Bob is goated. Where did you go? Bob is a goated character. Even no, not more than Aaron, but he's goated nonetheless. Because Bob is so realistic for a character. If we, the audience, were there, we wouldn't be a Rick Grimes or a Michonne or a Negan or a Governor. We'd be like Bob. Maybe we'd survive, but with a lot of trauma, and we just wouldn't have the plot armor those characters did, and we would die halfway through their story because we, as the audience, of course, would not have that plot armor. And he was awesome character. I believe they did. But I do believe they overdid it with his death because it felt like they made it seem like he was one of the main characters for everyone. But really, the only ones who truly were affected by Bob's death were only two people, and maybe three, I guess. Bob, Bob himself. No, no, not Bob. Tyrese, Sasha, and Rick. So yeah, Bob was a very realistic character. I liked what they did with him and Daryl when they had Daryl tell him, maybe you should have died back then, due to Bob having a drinking problem right then and there, him not being able to handle the pressure. So that's that. Bob is a goated character, in my opinion. So next up, we have this is going to be very controversial, but I'm going to be putting Carl in bad. Now, I don't mean to say he was bad as in he wasn't badass, because obviously Carl was a badass in that show. Oh, damn, boy, you were badass, Negan would be saying. But in my opinion, they treated Carl too much like a liability. Like he was supposed to depend on Rick too much to save him, to get saved, and he was supposed to be seen as not interesting or not serious. He wasn't taken serious by Negan, not at all, not one bit, not one bit. He was taken serious by Negan, and that was just for me like really annoying. I wish they had him being taken seriously by a lot of the people. Even Rick didn't take him as seriously as he should have. But one thing I did like about Carl throughout the entire show was his relationship with his mom, Laurie, and Michonne, second mom, Michonne. I believe they really did great with that. We learned Michonne's backstory because of Carl. Otherwise, maybe we would have never learned what happened, how she got those two walkers, her tragic backstory. And I believe they did a lot with them in season 4. The Joe's death, the rapist guy who dies at the hands of Rick, Carl getting shot in the eye was great. These were all great things, but ultimately I just don't think they made him as bad as they should have. As crazy as that sounds. Like with the eye patch thing, I guess with Carl getting shot, Carl fooling Negus, that was all great. But I feel like they could have done a lot more with Carl, and they should not have killed Carl. If they wanted to kill someone, they should have killed Rick, not Carl or Michonne, but they should not have killed Carl. That's where they really fucked up, in my opinion. And the show went downhill. People are saying, in my honesty, uh, the show went downhill right as season 7, episode 2 started. It was way too slow, but We are going to be talking about that later when we get to Negan. So yeah, Carl was great, but I feel like the reason I'm putting in bad is not because of the writing, not because of his character development. They were both great. That's why I'm putting him in bad, because of just how stupid, and also Carl's death was the second dumbest after Beth's. He just gets bit by a walker and dies. That's the lamest shit ever. It should not have happened. It was dumb, definitely. I guess they could have done that with Rick and it would have made better. But instead of getting by one walker, maybe like Rick, what happens is Rick lets himself get bit by the walker to save Carl or to save someone. They, instead of Rick should have died instead of Carl, in my opinion, at the very end of the show, and Carl shouldn't have died there in the first place. So that's why I'm putting not Carl is not going in bad because he was bland or anything like that. He's going in bad because they just did not allow the actor to fully flourish in the role and they made a mockery. It felt like they made more of a mockery of his badassery, if that makes sense. Okay, that's why Carl is there. Okay, next one we have is Carol, and honestly, in my opinion, I don't like Carol's character at all. I just don't. I don't feel like she was important enough to have made it through the entire show, and I feel like she should Carol should have died at the prison instead of T-Dog. What they did with Carol was what they were supposed to do with T-Dog. And the reason I'm putting in her in trash is because her character makes such bad and bland decisions, and such obviously bad and bland decisions in season 9 and season 10. And she has the worst episode of the entire show. She season 10 episode 20, I believe, that was diverged. Uh, j- Apart from the dog petting scenes, them petting dog and Daryl scenes, they they were just bland and meh in my opinion. I just don't find anything interesting about the character, honestly. I just don't see it what others are seeing her badassery. I get that Carol is a badass, but to me it feels just forced. It feels forced. Her character feels forced. Everything about her. It feels like a character that was not meant to make it throughout the show, but made it throughout the show. That's just how I feel, guys. Feel free to leave a few FUs in the comments if you feel like it. Feel free. And something else about Carol is that her character feels really bland after the rescue of season 5. Feels like they just wanted to give her stuff to do, so just she had stuff to do after that. I get it. Them not killing her off till season 5 was great, but feel like they could have done a lot better, lot more with T Dog instead of Carol. And also, her love with Ezekiel was meh, in my opinion. Her relationship with Ezekiel was meh. It just happened out of nowhere, and in my opinion, not every male female duo needs to be a relationship, and we clearly got that proved by Carol and Daryl. So I don't know why they feel it felt a lot more complex and a lot better, a lot deeper when they were just talking as opposed to when they did that king queen bullshit. But that's just me. Okay, so this is the entire group of Magna. I put them together because like I just felt bored. Magna's supposed to be here. I guess she got cropped out. Sorry for that, guys. Wait, but where will I put them? Where did they go? Yeah, they were right over here. And it's just okay. They are not like Bonnie, okay. Due to Bonnie and her relationship with her sister, I'm going to put them in good, but that's only because of them. The music guy Luke, that's his name, I think. His death was meh. I didn't feel anything. Even when his girlfriend died in front of him, I was just like, okay. Uh, the Yumiko was a good character. Magna was okay. I feel like she, even if she wasn't there, if the group they didn't have Magna, it wouldn't have been oh so bad. The reason I'm putting them in good instead of okay is because of Bonnie, because Bonnie and her sister's relationship was great. The way they portrayed it, it was awesome. In my opinion, it felt very realistic. Her sister not believing Cindy, I believe that's her name, not believing that she's gone, or having faith. It felt like realistic, very realistic for both of them when she got in that cave. Also, when Bonnie came in contact with the house freaks, those guys, the pale skin guys. That was also very awesome, in my opinion. The reason they are in being put in good instead of okay is because of Bonnie, Cindy, I believe that's her name. I could be wrong. Luke, Magna, and Yumiko, they are meh characters in my opinion. They would have gone in okay if I could have put them, but that's okay. Here is someone who was good, but they could have done better. He could have been goated, but they just made Dale very bland at the end because we clearly know he's not a very high guy from the moral standpoint. We see that when he tries to, like, he knows he has to shoot Shane, but he doesn't. He knows it would be the right thing to do to shoot Shane there, but he didn't because he didn't have the guts, in my opinion. He didn't know that it was right to Shane. He thought it was right to shoot Shane then and there instead of letting him take the guns, but he chickened out and he didn't do it. Dale's character could have been a lot better. They could have done a lot more with Dale's character. He could have been goated, but he's still a really good character in my opinion. Uh, the complex dynamic between him and Shane, him being the better guy and the morally outstanding guy, the morally righteous one, and Shane being the devil, portrayed as the devil, even though they had to make those decisions. Two side two sides of the same coin, basically. It's meant to portray. And in my opinion, his death was well played out. Was a character that didn't last long enough, but that was very realistic because apart from plot armor Rick and Carl, who also got bodied in season 8, I feel like everyone else almost I knew that was going to die. Apart from Carol, I hope she dies in season 4 of Daryl Dixon. So that's that. Uh, Dale was Dale was a very complex character. Him saving Andrea at the CDC, him seeing Andrea as his own daughter, that was amazing. That was very well done. Him saving her, his his friendship with Glenn, his uh, his frenemyship with Daryl. I mean, they were not really friends or enemies, but they were just, and him talking with him being good friends with Rick. It was just a very well written character in my opinion, but they could have gone further with him. They could have done a lot more. I would have liked to have seen Dale's plan played out. They let Randall go. Randall escapes. He brings his 30 men back, and Dale has to live with the horror of that. What the 30 men will do. So that's that. Okay, who's the next character? Daryl. Oh, man, just very just awesome. Daryl is just purely awesome. In every sense of the word, he is awesome. He's a great character. He has depth. He has depth. He is well written. He has very good character development. The actor is awesome at playing Norman Reedus is awesome at playing the role. I hope he plays Daryl for like ever, man. Even better than this character of Daryl is even better than Rick in my opinion. His entire dynamic with everyone in the group from start to finish of season 1 to 11 was awesome. His relationship with his brother was absolutely phenomenally well done, especially that scene where Merle sees what Daryl had to go through in his early childhood when Merle had left. That was absolutely awesome. Norman Reedus can play this character like on his what do you say, even at 0% of him trying to portray Daryl, they almost feel the same. I've seen Norman's interviews and he basically speaks in Daryl's voice, but it's a little bit higher. And his character arc from season 1 to season 5, where at starting he hates Rick because Rick left him. But then, as the show goes on, and as we get to see more of Daryl, we start to see him becoming a little bit morally better of a character, and we see him get to become a brother of Rick up until that point in season 5, where he basically tells Joe, if you want blood, take it from me. If that was season 5, season 1 Daryl, he would have left Rick and the gang right then and there. But because because of his amazing character development throughout the prison, we got to see more of Daryl. He didn't shy away, he didn't leave the group. And this is particularly due to, I will admit, this happened particularly due to Shane's death. Because if Shane hadn't died, Daryl might not have gotten as close to the group as he did. But this is just, I think everyone can agree this character is top tier in my opinion. Not in my opinion, in everyone's opinion, this character is goated. Daryl is a goated character. I hope he lives through season 4 of his finale. Daryl Dixon, season 4. I hope he lives throughout the season. I hope at the season's end he meets Rick and they have like an emotional reunion. Hopefully, we'll get the reunion in season 4 ending of Daryl Dixon in the finale. But if we don't, I hope maybe in the spin off after that we get it. Maybe there will be another spin off that shows it. But yeah, that's that. Daryl, and I liked season 7 when Daryl had punched Negan. I liked that he felt like he was responsible for everything that was happening. He was blaming himself. Even before that, the scene with Beth, absolutely well done by both of them. It was awesome. He first tried to make it out as if his, it was Beth's fault, but then he uh, later confessed that maybe he felt like it was his fault. He was the one responsible. I'm stumbling on my words, guys. I'm sorry. I just cannot comprehend the words for the awesomeness to with to with to which I can describe Daryl Dixon with. If, to which I can describe Daryl Dixon with. Goated character, goated characters right now are Daryl, Aaron, and Bob. Dwight, good, very good character. I like that at the starting we feel like Dwight is the victim when he knocks Daryl out, and then we see them. We feel like something's off. Maybe Dwight is a victim of Negan, maybe some other group. But then as the show goes on, we get the death of Denise. No, even before that, when he takes Daryl hostage and takes everything and goes on his way with Daryl's bike, we feel like this character is so bad. I want to punch him in the face, and that's what we are meant to feel. And he was, and then after that, we get the scene of him killing Denise and then after that we get him and Daryl, the development between them, I guess you can say. Daryl understanding why Dwight had to do what he had to do, the reasons behind them, the reasons behind Dwight doing what he had to do, and yeah, that's that. Daryl was sorry, I'm still stuck on Daryl, guys. Dwight was very good because he was very complex character. Even when Daryl had asked him the three questions, his answer felt the best. How many walkers you killed? Many. How many people you killed? None. Why? And he said, because if I killed someone, I would never stop. Kind of like Batman. What a correlation, Dwight and Batman. Mm, that's why I'm putting. He was probably the most complex character in the entire show, apart from maybe Rick Grimes and Negan, those two. We don't, and his redemption arc after he gets his girl away from Negan, he finally goes on to redeem himself by helping Rick and the gang. That was great to see. A very good character. Okay, on to the next. I have put Dwight here. Awesome character. I haven't seen the spin-off which includes Dwight, Fear of the Walking Dead. Maybe I will. Maybe after that my ranking might change. But for now, he's a very good character. In fact, no, no, this is perfect. Enid, here we go. I am putting Enid over here in the OK tier. So the reason for me putting her there instead of good goated is because her character relied a bit too much on Carl and any love interest that she had. And Ron, Carl, and Aaron, I just feel like not Aaron. I forgot the name of the character, but I'll remember it when I see him in the tier list. But her later boyfriend, that I felt like she never got to do stuff on her own. We always saw her with Carl, Maggie, and Carl, Maggie, Glenn, Siddiq. So to me, it felt like just meh. She was a character that was meant to make others' character development more, to make the story more complex. And honestly, Enid was just kind of boring, in my opinion. Whenever her, the only good thing about her was not even her. It was her relationship with Carl. The one thing I liked about Enid is the scenes we have of her backstory where she sees her parents get killed by the walkers, and then after that we see her eating a turtle. That to me felt like savagery, and it was like awesome to see. So that you could see this girl, this little girl who just saw her parents died. She had to harden herself to survive out in the wild, and yeah, that was the only good scene of Enid, in my opinion, in the entire show. But that's just me right now. Honestly, people are going to disagree here, saying she's a very good character. And uh, another thing about Enid that was great is that the fact that she was one of the victims of the pike deaths, because it was very unexpected, and I liked that she died. I did not expect them to kill her off like that. I thought she would have died later as a sacrifice or something, but no, not a sacrifice. But I'm just not able to get the words right. She sacrifices herself for someone. That's what I'm trying to say. But I like that it was very unexpected. But she's just an okay character for now. Eugene, I'm going to be putting him in goated. The reason for this is his character development solely. When we see him in season 4, he's a coward, he's chicken shit, he's scared of everyone and everything. But slowly, as the slow progresses, he becomes more and more heroic. And that was a very good trait, where complexity. His relationship with Rosita, not relationship, I guess, yeah, his relationship with Rosita, that was Rosita, Rosita, Mamacita, was great. And he probably had the best character development in the whole show after one other character who's I'm going to be mentioning after this. He was an absolutely goated character in terms of character development complexity. In starting from when he saved Terra from the walkers while a walker was getting behind them, and after that him letting everybody know the truth that he's not a scientist and that he was just fooling everyone, and then after that we see that he takes the initiative to take the bus alone to somewhere to distract the saviors, and that honestly was like the peak of his development because it felt like he knew he might die, but he still went ahead and did it. And after that they could have killed Eugene off in the lineup, but I'm grateful they didn't because his relationship with Rosita was absolutely amazing to see, just awesome between them both. I cannot say this enough. From Eugene wanting to get with her to Eugene treating her like basically a best friend to a sister almost, and then Eugene being the one to put her down, you would have never expected that in the entire show. It was great, awesome. Also, the fact that he's the reason for Commonwealth versus Alexandria, or Commonwealth and Alexandria, he was really important. His arc with Negan, him being ballsy enough to admit that he was the one that made the bullet, basically thinking in his mind that I'm going to die, but I'm going to do it for my friends. I'm going to sacrifice myself. But he didn't die. We saw his whole arc with Negan. The fact that he tricked Negan into believing that he was, uh, what do you say, not a traitor. What's the word for it? I forgot. Loyal. The fact that he tricked Negan into believing that he was loyal to him and him only. His whole I am Negan arc was great. And then at the very end, when we see that Eugene's master plan worked and that he did manage to make the bullets malfunction the bullets, it was awesome in my opinion. That's why I'm putting Eugene in goated. And this is not to say that to have a goated character you just need character development, but you need much more than that, obviously. But for Eugene specifically, and one more character after this, only character development is being counted in my opinion from me. Okay, so Eugene is goated. Next one after Eugene is Gabriel, Father Gabriel. Absolutely unbelievably amazing what they did with Gabriel's character. The fact that at the starting he was a coward, even worse than Eugene, some may say, because he didn't even have the brains. The fact that he was a priest, he had to murder people in his church. The fact that he killed his congregation indirectly, and at the end we see it come full circle with Gabriel being the one to save the people outside the Commonwealth gates. It was uh, he was the probably the best character in terms of character development in the entire show. Not Rick, not even Eugene. It was Father Gabriel. He, mm, his cowardice, from cowardice to becoming a brave leader. his skills in killing zombies, and the best thing about Father Gabriel was when he killed the priest, the other priest, and he killed one of the reapers and told him God is not here, which leads us to believe he's lost faith in God, but he hadn't. And my personal favorite moment was when he killed Mace, the character that they had uh, his shop they had gone into, I believe, and he had been hiding in the attic and came down at night and forced them hostage, both of them, Aaron and Gabriel. And then, when we believe that Mace has had enough character development that they will take him in, we see Father Gabriel bashing his head in. That was honestly insane for me. Goated character, amazing. His relation with Negan, the fact that at first he appears as a coward to Negan, and then as slowly Negan becomes like, holy shit, man, this dude is a badass. I can't do a proper Negan accent, guys. I'm sorry, I just can't. Goated. Okay, so next up we have Ezekiel. None of that king nonsense, if you get what I mean. Great, good character. I'll put him ahead of Dwight. You know what? I'll even put him ahead of Dale. Okay, so what do I say about Ezekiel? Apart from his corny relationship and the way he spoke, which obviously we got a reason to that, I liked that he kept Shiva. It was Shiva. It was awesome to see a tiger in the show mauling zombies and people. We needed that, something like an animal killing tigers. I just wish Shiva had lasted longer. My favorite moment of Gabriel was right when Shiva sacrificed herself. Right before that, he said, I'm not your king, I'm just some guy. But the thing about Ezekiel is they did not need to make that friendship into a relationship with Carol. It just became bland after that. Before that, it was a lot better. And after this split, it also felt a lot more better. It felt cheesy and corny to pitch them together. And yeah, that's what I have to say about Ezekiel. And I like what he did in Commonwealth of uh, the fact that he stood against the system, treated people on his own behind the veterinary clinic. That was great to see. And we like the one of the best moments in the entire show was when he saved Negan and Negan's wife from getting killed, getting slaughtered, and he stood in front of them. That to me really solidified the character. I could have put Ezekiel in goated, but the thing that is stopping me from doing that is just his relationship with Carol and the fact that his relationship with his two sons like figures, I guess you can say, or sons basically, Benjamin and Henry, it just felt a little meh to me and a little bit forced to me. Just a little. Felt a little cheesy. That's why Gabriel is not in goated, he's in good. But apart from that, he was a very solid character. I liked everything about him from the start. He felt cheesy, but he felt good. That's the right thing to say. Corny but good. That's why Ezekiel is in the good tier. Uh, and hey, Ezekiel, I forgot to include him. Maybe I think, but I would have pitched them together. I don't know. I don't think I have him here, but Jerry and Ezekiel together are goated duo. If I had them together, cropped together, oh, I do have Jerry. So you know what I'm going to do this. The comedic scenes were awesome of Jerry and Ezekiel. Uh, just him respecting Ezekiel that much was honest to see. You don't see that a lot in many of these shows. They always have a character betraying someone, but he never betrayed Ezekiel. So if I were to put them together, I would have put them here. But due to I forgot was not able to crop a pic of them. That's why they are there. But together they are goated. Okay, Gareth. Now where do I place Gareth? He was from the best season of the show, widely considered best season. For me, the best season is season 6. But I get it. People liking season 5, I get it. It was highly action packed as well. I believe Gareth to be, I guess, a good villain. He was a good villain. His whole thing with Terminus, I at first we think they are bad, but then they turn out to be actually good in a sort of way, but then bad again. It was okay to see. The fact that the cannibals, it was kind of fucked up, and I like that. We needed more fucked up shit like that in the show. We still do. It it felt freaky. It felt like it belonged in the Walking Dead universe. Gareth, a guy like that, belongs there after having everything happen to him. The stuff he does, it belongs there in the story. It felt like it. It felt like some people would go insane and start hurting others because their own people were hurt by others. And yeah, Gareth and his entire I just have Gareth here, but actually I believe this Gareth and everyone at Terminus or the entire thing, the cannibals, I guess you can say. I have them all together here in the good tier. They're good villains, but there is a flaw, and that flaw is I felt like Gareth was defeated way too easily by Carol and Rick. Like, how did Rick outsmart Gareth? I don't even get it. How did he do it? He left the building, but then he was back in somehow. I still don't understand how he did that. And I felt like at the very end, they could have done it a lot better. But it was for Rick's character. I get it. Him hacking Garrett to death was awesome. Absolutely awesome. But they could no, they could not have done better. This was a good character. It came, he came, he went, he did good things for his people. He did bad things for to other people. He did good bad things to other people to for his people because he felt like his people were better. The entire backstory to Terminus was also very well done. It was I felt like they were just going to be pure evil villains at first, but then they showed that they were good, but then they became bad all of a sudden because of circumstances, because of people hurting them, hurting their friends, hurting their family, hurting the women. Gareth and his people had to do what they had to do to survive. They felt what they felt like they had to do to survive. They took their place back. They became bad in a sense, but good in their own moral perception. I like that. I like that very much. He was a good character. I feel like they could not have done any better with him. They could have done worse, but his death felt anticlimactic, and the death of his entire gang felt a little anticlimactic. That's that. But Garrett was a very good villain. Very good villain. I believe I will say that he is probably top 5 villains of all time for me in the Walking Dead universe. In the entire series, not just the main Walking Dead, but even if I saw the spin-offs, I would still have it. Still have him at least in the top 5. Yes, here we go. One of my favorites, Glenn. Some people are going to disagree here, but I have put Glenn in okay. Now hear me out, guys. You might be thinking, oh, why is he doing this? Glenn is a fan favorite. He was well written. He was great. He was a good character. His death was great. But I feel like after season 5, in season 6, they did not do a whole lot with Glenn. Like his character felt like he had completed his arc. Okay, my batteries. I just like plug in my battery. And I feel like after you complete a character's full arc, keeping them alive for no reason is very, very bad, in my opinion. It's it felt meh. Glenn's character after season 6, he felt a little meh. After reuniting with Maggie, he felt a bit meh. But Maggie did bring a lot more to his character later on when she got pregnant. I liked that him defending her many of the times, not many, just like one time when she thought Glenn was dead. Then she saw him come back, only to be surrounded of a horde of zombies, a huge herd, and she thinks right then and there Glenn is going to die. That was a great. That was great. From season 1 to season 7, if I had to give Glenn a rating, I would say it's 9.5 out of 10. But there's only one problem. That 9.5 becomes a 6.5 because after you completed his arc, people were angry with Glenn's death, but I personally felt like they should have killed him off a lot earlier. And I love Glenn's character. He's one of my favorites. But when he died, I didn't feel anything, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. I just didn't feel that bad. Just being honest here. To me, it just felt like, okay, Glenn's dying, meh, whatever. Because I felt like I knew they were going to kill him off. I hadn't read the comics, but I knew he was going to die. With the amount of fake deaths he had, he was going to get a real one. I knew that. So when he did die, I felt, okay, Glenn's dead. Am I supposed to feel bad? This was just me. I don't know about anyone else. But I feel like his perfect death was the death that he had with the zombies. Many people are going to disagree. When Nicholas kills himself and Glenn falls, they should have kept that death. That death would have been a lot better because let's assume Glenn becomes another zombie. He gets bit. He doesn't get eaten alive, but he gets bit. And then he dies right there. And then he turns. And then while Maggie is going to find Glenn in the sewers, on the other side of the gate, we see Glenn as a zombie. And Maggie just breaks down. She's in tears. She can't believe what she's seeing. She doesn't want to do it. But she hardens up. She becomes hardened, just like Carl. And she uh, gives a nice stab to Glenn's forehead, and then he dies. And then the zombie dies. Zombie Glenn dies. That would have been a lot better than what they did. I feel like it would have been a lot better. It would have strayed from the comics, but who cares about straying from the comics when they are keeping Carol alive and killing Carl? That could have been a lot better. But Glenn as a character is actually very good. And you know what? I just because his death is bad doesn't mean I have to change it. So I'm just going to be putting Glenn here good in a in the good tier. He was good, a very good character. Right from the moment he got introduced to the many fake out deaths, the well, the Nicholas 2, Nicholas 1 when he kills when he tries to kill Glenn in the woods, Nicholas 2 the above the dustbin, the well, the governor, Merle. Yeah, he had. I just knew from the beginning when they were giving him that many fake out deaths that yeah, he's going to die. Glenn is going to die. Just when I did not know that. Mm. That's why I changed my opinion, guys. I put him from okay to good, but that's just because he's one of my fan favorites. And even though his death was stupid, he should have died a lot earlier. Many people might not agree with that, but still, Glenn is a good character. Okay, so here we have another character, another antagonist, Governor Goated. I loved that he was pure evil. I loved that. They don't make villains like that anymore. He didn't have a reason, the governor. He could have chosen to be good, but he chose to be bad. There was no reason behind it. I like villains like that, like the judge, Q, not Am, but I like villains like that don't have a reason particularly, but they still do it because they enjoy it, because of the thrill of it they get. When he killed Herschel, liar, that was probably his best scene. And the best thing about the governor is that he had no limits. He was not limited to just man. He subjugated his evilness to Maggie, and he would have even killed the baby. Even Merle said that he would have killed the baby as well. He was really pure evil. He did not care about anyone or anything. That makes him a good character because we don't see that a lot nowadays. Nowadays, villains always need to have a backstory, but I guess you can say the governor's backstory is that his daughter died, became a zombie, and that's why he became the way he became. But I believe even if his daughter was alive, he still would have been just the way he was. And he was the best villain in the entire show. I have not even finished. I have not watched even one spin-off till yet, but I can still already say he's probably the best villain in the entire series. In the comics, he's absolutely insane. He's even worse than he is in the show. But in the comics, he's a lot more brutal. I don't think AMC would have showed that. What he did to Michonne in the comics was absolutely insane. What Michonne did to him was also worse, even just as bad, not worse. The torture he was going to do to Michonne, we saw the tools he had ready, the torture he was doing to Andrea, how charismatic he was and how manipulative he was. We don't see that a lot in Walking Dead. We don't see characters being manipulated that easily in Walking Dead. Unless it's done by someone smart like Eugene and how he was able to manipulate Abraham. But we saw Governor manipulate multiple people. He was able to manipulate Milton. He was able to manipulate Andrea. He was able to manipulate Martinez to let him stay at his place. Even though Martinez must have known that this guy was batshit crazy, I should not have taken him. But he took him in anyways because he saw that he had a little girl with him, and that was probably his biggest mistake in the entire show because he dies right after. That's why he's a goated villain, just absolutely awesome. And one thing I will agree on is that his introduction to the show was very bland at the beginning. The scene where he really picks up and we really get to know, okay, this guy is going to be the big bad now, is when he kills the military man. It was unrealistic, but it was definitely pure awesome. And I wish that they had started his introduction with that particular scene. We see the governor going down there to the station and then he just does his thing. That could have been a better introduction. And his end was very great. Michonne said it earlier in the season that I'm gonna kill you. And then she did it. No hesitation, nothing. Sliced him open, and then he died at the hands of Lily Chambers. He is probably another villain that he's my number one favorite villain, top one. Now the number one best villain in the whole show for me, including the spin-offs. I know about the spin-offs, I know about the villains, but he's probably the best villain in the entire show. That's why the governor is goated. Okay, and now let's move on to a character that I don't like as much, Henry. They made him unlikable for the sake of being unlikable. I just don't get it what it is with them making kids do stupid decisions. Sophia running off and not listening to Rick, Carl running off to save Siddiq when he really didn't need to. Siddiq was fine on his own. He could have brought him in later, and then Henry, being the dumbass he is, falls in love with Lydia, and then like the dumbass he is, gets kidnapped, follows the group of Alpha, and then uh, spiked, gets pike death, gets the pike death. I was really happy that they killed Henry because his character was starting to get annoying, and he was really just a replacement for Carl, in my opinion, because they had killed Carl off. They decided, okay, so we don't have Carl for this character arc now. So who are we going to pair Lydia up? Oh, well, there's this character named Henry, and he's pretty young. Well, let's just pair them up together. Let's give Henry the arc that Carl was supposed to have. Nobody will notice. Yeah, that was the dumbest thing that could have done. The only reason I'm not putting Henry in trash is because his relationship with Lydia was actually really good. We got to see character development of Lydia due to Henry, due to him talking with her, due to him being morally obliged, him liking her, and we wouldn't have gotten Lydia, Alpha, and Beta probably if it more of Alpha and her group, the Whisperers, if it wasn't for Henry. That's why I'm not putting him in the bad category. That's that. I just don't have a lot to say about the character. He was bad. They made him have take bad decisions just because they wanted him to take bad decisions. No other reason behind it. He was clouded by judgment. We hate those types of characters. I mean, I do at least. Okay, Herschel Green. Oops, just got a notification there. Herschel Green. Where do I put Herschel now? Where do I put Herschel? I I want to put Herschel in goated, but there are a few things holding that back. Yeah, I'm going to put Herschel in goated any which ways, and I'm going to put him even above the governor. He was more of a father figure to Rick than anyone else in the show. We never see anyone else being as much uh, honest with Rick, I guess you can say, as Herschel was. And he his death, I knew it was coming, but it still hit me. That's very hard to do with a character. To let the audience know that, yeah, this character probably will die, but then you still feel bad about it because it was predictable, but the character is just that good. It's very hard to do. This can an example of this is Avengers Infinity War, where we in Endgame, sorry, Avengers Endgame, in which Tony Stark dies, and lots of people theorized, and lots of people basically knew, like, yeah, he was probably going to die. But even when it happened, we you still felt bad because that's just how goated the character was, how good the character was. And Herschel is exactly like that. He was the wise old man uh, type of father figure that Rick needed to get his morality back into play. Yeah, Herschel is definitely a goated character. I don't care what anyone says. I don't have much to say about Herschel other than the fact I wish we had some more hallucinations of Herschel. Rick seeing Herschel, Rick maybe more. We did get more of Herschel, but that was like in the past in the show. So after his death, we see more of Herschel in the past, what they were doing back at the prison. And I definitely like that, but I just feel like I wish we got more of him even after his death, like how we did with Alpha. We got several scenes of Alpha. I wish we did get more of Herschel later on, even if they were hallucinations. I don't care. That's the only problem I have with Herschel's character. He was so good that we didn't get enough of him. The fact that at first he doesn't like Glenn, but he gets used to Glenn and then he loves Glenn as a father, that was another great scene to see. His arc at the prison where when everyone gets sick and he goes in anyways, knowing he might get the infection, he might get the flu, he might die, but he still goes on in there, saves Glenn, saves everyone else. That was probably the best scene for Herschel in the show to show just how brave he was and how wise he was. Herschel, his line, "Danger is everywhere. We breathe, we risk dying. We live, we risk dying." That was another scene that for me, yeah, this character has to be quoted. There's nowhere else to for this character to go but goated. I'll even put him above Bob, right below Aaron. You know what? I might even put him above Aaron. I don't know. I'll see about that later. Gregory, trash. I don't need to explain this. I hope not. I hope I don't need to explain why this character is bad. The obviously clumsy, bad guy, politician type figure is not a good character. How surprising. The liar, the manipulator, the ass kisser. That's basically what he was. And I hope people understand why I put him there. If you guys don't, I might lose faith in humanity. Lance Hornsby, bad villain. Not bad. I guess I can put him in okay. I guess yeah, I can put him in okay. He was he was not a good villain. He was like a very stereotypical villain. That's what he was. That's what I didn't like about him. That he was a very stereotypical villain. I did not like that. I wish they had gone deeper into why he did not like Pamela. What was his problem with Pamela? Maybe more so than just gaining power, more power than Pamela. Why? What was? Because I know there was more than meets the eye. He did not just want power, because that would have been boring, but he did ultimately in the show. He just wanted more power, more land to control, to overthrow Pamela, I guess, but he was not able to do that. So he just decided he's going to kill a few people, make them into zombies, make Pamela understand. Just felt a little odd to me why he would do all of that instead of just having his two people let him out of the prison, making someone else going to think it was Hornsby and maybe making a new plan altogether. But yeah, I don't have much to say about him. He was a bad villain. I'm putting him in okay, but he was bad. I guess you can. You know what? I changed my mind. He was bad. Jadis. She's the definition of an okay character. Not bad, not too good, but just okay. She's right there. She's there to further the plot, to make the plot a little more interesting. Her and the garbage people, her people getting slaughtered, seeing that was crazy. And when I first saw the garbage people, I thought for sure these guys were going to be the real deal, but they just turned out to be a bunch of pussies. Honestly, the way they died was just pathetic, in my opinion. Just Simon just killed them off. That's that. Over. Only JD survives. Everyone else dies. I feel like they should have expanded more, not into just Jadis or Anne, but to the whole garbage people themselves. Why? How did they end up there? How did they get there? A few flashback scenes of Jadis might have done better. Maybe Jadis does get a better backstory and better character development in the ones who live. But for what she did in The Walking Dead was she basically did nothing. She joined Negan's side. She she joined Rick. She betrayed Rick. She joined Negan. She still did not manage to get Negan what he wanted. Then she betrayed Negan for Rick. Then she made it out as though she had delivered Rick to Negan, but they still shot. Then she punched Simon in the face, knowing that it would result in something bad. It basically, if the character was not there, nothing would have changed, in my opinion. Yeah, Rick would have still found the garbage people. Maybe Rick wouldn't have found the garbage people, and instead of finding the garbage people, maybe he would have found Oceanside. That's what would have happened. So yeah, there's really no need for this character. Now that I think about it, she's just there. She's not good. They probably had her for to further the conflicts of the CMR, CRM. Sorry, she's probably there for CRM to make us understand what the CRM is, to give us a slight introduction of what they are supposed to be, what they are, honestly. But if Jadis isn't there, it doesn't change. If she's there, it doesn't change. Basically, this character has no meaning. I'm just going to say that. So that's why she's just okay. But for the character itself, she did do pretty well at the garbage thing. I liked it. Need guns. Lay down. That was funny. The garbage people's deaths were very funny too. They just get shot and does nothing. And the dumbasses even give the guns to them. Okay. Jadis is okay. Next character up we have is Jerry. Jerry. Jerry was a great character, but no, not but. Still, it did feel a little unrealistic that Jerry did not lose anyone. Nabila, his children. I'm not saying someone should have died, but at least someone should have gotten hurt or harmed. That did, but I guess that's just how goated Jerry is. That even though he's in the worst universe of fiction probably ever, the probably top five worst universes, he still managed to get through it with his family and his wife intact. Yeah, you can definitely do better, Rick. That's why Jerry isn't good. If Jerry and Ezekiel were together, I would have put them. I should have put them together. I made a mistake. But yeah, Jerry is a great character, great side character, one of the best. I don't have much to say about Gary, apart from the fact that yeah, he was just a good character. Not just as a good character, he was literally the best person in the entire show. When he met Negan, he literally said, "Dude," like after Negan slaughtered so many of his people. This man is chill with everyone. So that's why Jerry is going in the good tier. Okay, so I have someone here, Joe, the claimers. Joe, I only have joined this picture, but basically he stands for the entire group of the claimers, and it was another okay character. I will say I like that they had Joe because due to Joe we got the best and most badass moment of Rick Grimes in the entire show, in the entire history of The Walking Dead. Probably the most badass. So this is what I feel like they should have been doing with Carl. These are the moments, types of moments they should have been giving him. When Joe gets his throat bit out by Rick and the gang takes back what's theirs, they get them back, they kill everyone, the the guy holding Michonne, and when Rick literally slices that guy open that was trying to grape Carl, that was honestly the best moment in the entire show. And we got that due to Old Joe, so thank you for that, Old Joe. But apart from that, you were a pretty okay character, pretty understandable. He was a bad guy, and he knew he was doing bad things, but he didn't care. And I feel like we should have had more of those guys. Both the governor and Joe are very similar, and I feel like they would have worked a lot better together if the governor had found Joe's group. That would have been crazy. That would have been honestly insane to see what would have gone down. Maybe would they have worked together due to their shared interests in evilness? Or would the governor have been intimidated? Or would Joe have gotten intimidated by governor? We will never know about that. Okay, so now next character that we have on the list is Jesus. Bad. They didn't do anything with. They did absolutely nothing with Jesus after I think making him stand up against Gregory. That's the only thing they did. I wish they had just made Negan the leader of Hilltop. But apparently the issue was the actor felt like he should have been killed off since they were doing absolutely nothing with him. And yeah, it's a shame, man, because Jesus is one of the best fighters in the entire show. He was taking on Rick and Daryl together. That's absolutely insane. That's just bonkers that he was able to do that. So we could have gotten so much more action with Jesus. I can imagine him against Beta, him against the Whisperers, more Whisperers. That would have been uh, crazy to see. Him against the Commonwealth would have been insane. Him against the CRM would have been absolutely insane. That would have, in the spin-off show. They killed him off for nothing. His death was just a cheap shot, a cheap death. That's what it was, just like Beth's. And they didn't give him enough character development. They should have done a lot more with Jesus. I liked the character from the beginning and the fact that he was morally very good and that he was the one that stopped Morgan from killing the saviors. That was awesome to see. And the fights with Morgan were also great. I just wish we had gotten more of Jesus, man. He shouldn't have died so early. He was a good character. I wish he had overthrown Gregory instead of Maggie. He becomes the leader of Hilltop, and Maggie is his co instead of the other way around. That would have been much better for his character. But yeah, that's that. Wasted potential, man. All these characters are wasted potential in the bad. Carl is wasted potential. Henry's wasted potential. Hornsby is very wasted potential. He could have been a very good villain. And Jesus is the most wasted character of all time. By far the worst character in terms of waste. His character went to waste. That's that. They could have done so much more with him. I'm really disappointed they decided to kill him off the way he did. Just get stabbed by a whisperer. And the whisperers are not even that big of a threat these days. They were cannon fodder basically, apart from Alpha and Beta. It, it he's probably the most wasted character in the entire show. and I'm just getting pissed just thinking about the things they could. I can just imagine him versus Beta instead of Daryl. Not that that fight was bad, but just like him being there with Daryl, it would have been so much more fun, and it would have come full circles from fighting Rick and Daryl to being there for them, to being there for Daryl to help against the Whisperers. That would have been awesome to see, just awesome. But unfortunately, we can't always have nice things, so Jesus had to go. It is what it is. He was a good character nonetheless. I guess I'm doing him dirty. It's not his fault the writers are pieces of shit. I'll put him in okay. For now, at the very top of okay. Another fight that would have been absolutely insane, I guess, that we never got to see is Jesus versus Abraham. That would have been absolutely insane. I wish we had seen that. We didn't, but I wish we did. Like a hand-to-hand combat fight. Okay, I hope you guys understand just how much I hate her character. I hate her almost as much as Andrea with her stupid face. I You can see something. This is not like I'm not uh, a, a misogynist, so I hope you guys understand. This is just a coincidence that all of them, that three of them are women. Just a coincidence, nothing else. But Laurie Grimes is the second worst character in the entire show, right after Andrea. I don't know how I can say this. She is so bad. She is so bad. I can't even describe it. How she made Shane and Rick fall out instead of just telling them both, okay, guys, can we work together as a team? Like how Rosita did with Siddiq and Gabriel. That's the difference between these characters. Rosita was good. Laurie is bad. Then after Rick kills Shane, he tells her, okay, I had to kill Shane because he tried to kill me. And she gets mad because, in my opinion, I think, guys, she actually wanted Shane. She did not want Rick. And she thought by saying that Shane would be the one that would walk home. And then when she saw Rick and learned what had happened, she got mad because she wanted Shane, not Rick. That's just what I think. And she was constantly trying to pit them against each other. And her sending Glenn and Maggie away only for them to be attacked. Her taking the adoption, to taking the, what do you call them, pills? What do you call those pills? Her taking the pills so that she would go through with what I just forgot, so that the baby wouldn't be born without telling Rick or Shane. She could have at least told Rick first. Rick, I don't want the baby. I'm choosing not to have the baby. But she just decides, oh no, I'm going to decide it on my own. And then when Rick does find out, she's like, oh, how can we bring this baby into this world? But you were sure having fun with Shane in that world, in the woods. She cheated on Rick right 2 weeks after. She didn't even wait 3 months, I believe. That was max the amount of time it took Rick to get out of that coma. She's such a disgusting character. She's the worst. She is what everyone hates about women these days. Misogynists. You guys will be calling me misogynist, but she's everything I hate about a woman. A character like this. I absolutely hate Laurie Grimes. I wish she had even died sooner, but one good thing about her is the fact that she died, and goated character came because of her, and that character was Judith, who is awesome, absolutely awesome. Nothing like Laurie, because Laurie's not even her real mom. I'm going to consider her real mom, even though she's not her biological daughter. I'll consider Michonne as her real mom rather than Laurie. And also for Michonne too. So that's that. I just can't I can go on hours about how bad her character is from the starting to the end of season 3. How many people she tried to get into she got into trouble because of her misdeeds. Glenn, Otis, Shane, Rick, Daryl, and Amy and Andrea, I guess you can count them. No, they were not technically Amy's death wasn't her fault. I guess not Amy, but Andrea. She also put Andrea into a lot of trouble, I believe, in the early seasons. But yeah, Andrea did deserve that trouble. These two are the worst characters of the entire show, followed by I don't even want to talk about this. Let's go ahead. Lydia is an okay character. She's okay. I'll put her in good. You know what? I'll give Lydia the benefit of the doubt. She was a good character. We see her from being with the Whisperers. Her backstory was great with Alpha, and the fact that she was okay with Alpha dying, she knew that it needed to be done. There was a lot of character development with Lydia that she was needed for Henry really, but they it was mutual character development. Two characters developing into each other, with each other, and but I feel like Lydia didn't need to live throughout the entire show. I feel like if they had killed Lydia off, it wouldn't have been a bad thing per se. It would have been okay if they had killed her off after the Whisperer's arc, after I guess you can say season 10, like right when she gets bit. If she had died, I would have been okay with that because her arc was basically over. But I guess, yeah, not everyone needs to die. That's all. There's that. And not everyone needs to live. Some characters need to die, not all. But Lydia was a very complex. She was evil and then she became good. Then she became kind of erratic later, but then she became good. I really, really, really loved her relation with Negan. Her seeing him as a father figure, her being able to openly talk to him, because she is also at the point where Negan is, because she went from a villain to trying to redeem herself, just like Negan was trying to do. So those two characters found uh, were mutually, what do you say, inclined with each other. I guess you can say that. I really, the best thing about Lydia was probably her relationship with Negan and Daryl. How she treated Daryl like a brother, how Negan treated her like a father. The fact that Negan protected her when Lance's group was trying to kill uh, her, that was great to see. She was a very good character. I don't have much to say about her either. And there are a few characters coming out who I have a lot to talk about. But yeah, Lydia was great. If I had to put her in goated, what would I have needed? I would have needed her to be in a spin-off of her own, I guess you can say. Or in season 11, she would have died, like sacrificing herself for the baby Adam, I guess, because he was part of the Whisperer group. I guess you can say that. But yeah, Lydia is good. Maggie. Maggie was a great character once upon a time, but they butchered her. She became an anti-hero later on. The things she did, she didn't need to do. I really hated. I some of these things are really related with Negan about these characters, but that's just how important he is. He's as important as Rick later on in the story. But I hated that when she went to the cellar, she saw Michonne. She confronted her. After that, she sees what Negan has become. He wants to die, but she decides, "Oh, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to let you suffer." Okay, that was great. But right after that, she leaves. Okay, she comes back. She sees Negan again. She wants to kill him again. I have a big problem with that. But I guess you could say the reason for that is because she felt like he hadn't suffered enough. I guess, but then why didn't she just grant him his request or just killed him? It and this same issue repeats itself. I believe in Dead City. She wants to kill him, she joins him. She wants to kill him, she needs him. She wants to kill him, she helps him. It gets boring at a point. Like there are more things to talk about in the show, more things to reflect on than just Glenn's death. There's a lot more to the show than just that. Many more characters died. Abraham died right there at the lineup. She does not give two shits about Abraham, but Maggie was a good character at the start. Lauren Cohan is an absolutely amazing actress. She really portrayed the role well from the start to the end. Even now in Dead City, this isn't on Lauren at all. It's just on the writing. Her character development was great. I liked it. She went from cowboy to Glenn's girl to Glenn's widow. That was great to see. I really would have liked if they had gone with the alternative in the lineup of season 7 and that Maggie had been the one to die. That would have been a pregnant Maggie dying at the hands of Negan would have been absolutely bonkers. It would have been insane. But people would be bitching because people always cry. People are crying even now about Glenn's death. But I would have liked to have seen that. That also, I'll talk about Rosita later, but same with her. Maggie was a good character that went downhill afterwards due to poor writing. Like when she talks with Negan, all she talks about is Glenn. But what about the other people that he killed? She does she care about them? Does she care about Abraham? Does she care about Olivia? Spencer? Doesn't seem like me, doesn't seem so to me that she cares about them. I'm sorry, guys. I went on a rant. I could have placed her in trash, but she's not as bad as those four, and she's not bad per se a character. She's a great character, and her arc of becoming the leader was great. Everything before she meets Negan is great. I mean, after defeating Negan, and after defeating Negan, it become after Rick defeats Negan, her character goes downhill. But before that, as the leader of Hilltop fighting against the Saviors, she was probably the best character during those seasons. The fact that she didn't blame Daryl for it, because probably she would have done the same thing later on, just to me shows it. Yeah, and I feel like they could have shown more about her going to that other place where they had a settlement and the Reapers took over. I feel like they could have gone deeper into that. Also, I don't understand why her and Michonne went their separate ways like that. I know it was due to Rick's death, and death was not Rick's death, Rick's fake death. But to me, it felt like they could have reconciled. It didn't feel like to me it was over. Maybe it would have taken half a year, maybe 2 years, but it felt like they could have reconciled a lot earlier than they did. That's what it feels like to me. Maggie could have been goated, but due to Dead City, I haven't watched it yet, but I know the plot and I know everything she does. One thing I loved about Maggie and Negan was the only time I loved them talking about Glenn. Two moments in the show when Negan tells her that he would have killed all of them. That was great. And when he tells her, "I am sorry for what I took from you," those two were beautiful moments in the show. They cannot be replaced. They were great, but they should have been done a lot sooner, or just they could have done a lot better in that show. About Maggie and Negan could have worked a lot better, and if they had not killed off Carl, I can just imagine instead of Maggie, cross her out. Maybe she's the one who dies there. But if they did not kill off Carl, Dead City could have been amazing with Negan and Carl traveling the city. I forgot Manhattan. That would have been absolutely amazing. Probably what should have happened. It's probably what was planned, but many bad things happened due to Carl's death. If Dead City had taken place with Chandler Riggs and Jeffrey Dean Morgan both, that would have been it would have been a lot better. Maggie and Negan don't work together well. They just don't. They don't have that dynamic. They they are, they are meant to be in the show together as anything. Frenemies, friends, enemies, nothing. They just don't work together well. They don't have that chemistry. They don't have it. Martinez. Martinez is an okay character. Martinez is an okay character. He served his purpose pretty well in the show. But there's one problem. I feel like when the governor did kill his own people, they could have done what they should have at least had Martinez push him around a little bit. What the fuck did you do that for? Are you evil? Are you insane? But they didn't. He just looked scared. And to me, that really showed it that the governor was probably the only and the most psychotic villain of the entire show. Martinez was okay. I don't have much to say about Martinez and Governor's entire group. Woodbury, I don't have much to say about them. Apart from the fact that they were decent villains, but they could have been. Even Martinez's death is okay. I don't understand one thing. Why would someone turn their back on a psycho that they know killed a lot of people, killed his own people, and they would turn their back on him while playing golf and thinking while no one is around, okay, this dude is definitely not going to hit me with that weapon he has over there. Yeah, Martinez was dumb. His death was coming a long time back at the hands of the governor. That's uh, that's why he's going in the okay tier. Hey guys, I hope you noticed that I put Milton here in the okay tier. I hope I don't need to explain that too much here. Basically, he was an okay character. He was kind of in the middle. He was not good, bad. He then tried to stand up against the governor, got brutally stabbed, died. That's that. He was a smarty pants in the show, and he did try to research about the walkers, but was not able to. Hmm. That's that. After that, after him, we have my top five favorite character, Negan. Although I do have a problem with Negan, and that problem is Negan in the season 6 premiere, sorry, in the season 7 premiere, and in the last episode of season 6, he was bonkers. His introduction was absolutely insane. That one scene where he tells Rick, grab the axe, hit me. That's the only way you'll win. And then he has the gun pointed at him. Those scenes were insane when he tells Rick to get his axe back to him. I like that. I really like that. I I I believed in myself. I thought to myself, okay, this is probably going to be the best season. Negan is a beast. He's crazy. He's a beast. But what happened is the pacing of season 7 was very bad. Negan was shining whenever he was on the screen, but I feel like he was too over enthusiastic. Yeah, I get not everyone has the same personality, but Negan being that over enthusiastic made you feel like, okay, this scene is not as serious as it should be. But when he was serious, he was serious. I don't think I need to explain too much about Negan. He killed Glenn and Abraham. Everyone hated him, but slowly everyone started loving him. I mean, he's probably the only character that can do that in the entire show. Lucille, I knew from the start that when he had that bat, and when he was describing her, he was saying she instead of it. I knew there was going to be a backstory. I liked Here's Negan. It was a it gave us a good backstory of how he started, how he became a savior, how he found himself in the apocalypse after losing his wife, how he became a bad guy, why he became a bad guy. We got to learn all of that. That was great. Negan as a villain is very complex. He's very charismatic, unbelievable charisma, overtly enthusiastic, and when he killed Glenn, many people hated him. But now that City is premiering again, people can't wait to see Negan. Those same people that hated him for killing Glenn. Your character arc has to be unbelievably insane for people who hate you for killing a fan favorite start loving you after a few seasons. That's just him killing Alpha and and indirectly killing Beta was just another reason for his redemption arc to be the best, the smoothest in the entire show. His redemption arc was great. I loved this character. I loved everything about Negan. Just like Daryl, very similar characters. They are both awesome characters. That's what it is. Negan is awesome. Daryl is awesome. They are just two characters that are meant to shine in the show. After Rick's gone, when we see Negan on his knees, when we see him experiencing the same helplessness that Glenn felt, him saying, "No, you take me, only me." The acting of Jeffrey Dean Morgan in that scene was absolutely insane. Brilliant actor, brilliant character, complex character development, redemption arc. Everything was there. And the chef's kiss was him killing Alpha. Him, the ex-antagonist killing the current antagonist, I guess you can say. I don't have much to say about Negan apart from that. I feel like he really was a perfect character in the show. Really perfect character. I don't know any other way to describe him. I all I'll say is that he was absolutely perfect in every sense of the word. From the introduction, I will say the slow pacing did frustrate me, but that's not to do with Negan. That's just to do with the season itself, season 7, and the slow pacing. The Savior's War with the Alexandrians and Kingdom and Hitop was also great. One thing that I did not like was the battle between him and Rick was kind of anticlimactic. I knew it was going to end like that because of Carl's death, with Negan surviving. I feel like it was the right choice to not kill Negan. They Not every villain has to die. Some can be reformed. They did show that. I like that. Not the ones like the governor, but Negan. I liked it. From the moment he stepped out of the bus to the moment he had a child with Annie and the moment he apologized to Maggie, every single scene, every single place, chef, it was he was perfect. Burning Lucille, saying sorry to Lucille, his whole backstory, just I don't know what to say. Chef's kiss. This character was the chef's kiss of the later seasons. Michonne, Michonne. What do I say about you? I'm go. I'm not gonna lie, guys. At first, I didn't like Michonne because she was with Andrea and anyone with Andrea. How can you? If you don't like Andrea, how can you like anyone that's close with her? If you guys get what I mean, I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying I thought she would be as boring as Andrea was with the badassery, but Michonne was a true badass and a damn well written character. She really did prove me wrong. Awesome character. Danai Gurira did a perfect job with her. Sorry guys for my voice. Feel a little bit rash. I don't know where to put Michonne. I am confused. Should I put her in goated? You know what? She had two kids. She has two kids and a family with Rick. And not only that, she is just otherwise an awesome character in the show. The scene we saw of her hallucination and that she joins Negan and she is the one to kill them, that was very well done. But I am conflicted. Where should I put Michonne? Michonne. Should I put you in goated or should I put you in good? You know what? I'm going to put Michonne in goated. She is going after Aaron, but before Negan. She is definitely by far the best love interest that Rick ever had. And definitely not her, and definitely not her in the comics, and definitely not Jesse. She's the best love interest Rick ever had. The fact that they trauma bonded was very interesting. The fact that we saw them together for a very short period, I guess you can say, is very interesting. It was all very interesting. But Michonne, there are a few character flaws. I don't like that every time she kills with the sword, with the what do you call that thing? Samurai sword, something like that. Katana. I don't like that every time she has to use a katana blade to kill someone. I don't like that at all. I wish they gave her something else, something more, because that just becomes part of your character, and that kind of makes your character boring later onwards, just like it did with Daryl. Kind of, you need to give them more than just that, them being some slinging slasher. It's more than that. But apart from that, I don't have any complaints regarding Michonne. She was awesome, and I like that she didn't fit right in immediately. Like she didn't fit in anywhere immediately. I like that when she got to Woodbury, she first got Andrea treated, and she knew something. She knew she knew something was up with Woodbury. She could just tell that something was wrong with the governor, and it was nice to see someone who was not as dumb as that stupid fuck Andrea. It was great, and I liked how she got trauma bonded, sort of. I guess you can say with Rick. I loved her relationship with Rick and Carl. Her relationship with Carl is probably the best thing about her and Carl in The Walking Dead. At least Carl in The Walking Dead. I really like Michonne just as a character. I don't have much to say apart from that right now. I know I have been saying that a lot, but I genuinely don't have much to say about her character arcs. There were no character arcs for Michonne. She was always a badass who was a good person, who was willing to step up to save someone. She was always like that, even from the start toward the end. Even though she did, I believe, participate in Rick's, what would you call it? No, no, she was not there, I believe, when Rick went there to. I don't know if she was there or not when Rick infiltrated Negan's outpost. I don't know if she. I don't remember if she was there or not. But yeah, Michonne is a goated character. Okay, moving forward, we have Noah. Wasted potential. Wasted potential. Wasted potential. That's all I'll say. And they killed Beth off for nothing. Beth died for nothing because in the end she stabbed Dawn for Noah, I believed, and he ended up dying anyway due to Nicholas's bad actions. And he had probably the most gruesome death in the show ever. He got ripped apart skin by skin by every single one of those walkers. Really, I wish they had done more with this character. It sucked to see him go out like that. I wish they had like given him a proper arc, a proper storytelling. I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know why they don't give any of the young actors proper arcs and storytelling. Now that I think about it, they just kill them off whenever they feel like it, and that's bad, man. They killed Carl off because they didn't want to pay him an adult wage, which these people are AMC. Fuck you, absolutely. F to the U to the C to the K to the YOU. Fuck you. Really greedy bastards. You greedy fucks. I'm just going to be ranting on and off about this. But yeah, I'll say that I wish they didn't kill Noah off so soon, man. I wish they could have done so much more with this character. They had a long way to go. The fact that he wanted to uh, make architecture for Alexandria, just like Diana's husband, that stuff was great to see. We needed more of that in the show. Kid wanting to learn on his own instead of depending on others. I just feel absolutely baffled that a character with this much potential as Noah was killed off so soon just because of Nicholas. Fuck Nicholas, man. Alright, so that's why I'm putting Noah in bad. He just didn't get to have his proper arc. We never got to see it. Not his fault either. What can we say? Now, people who have watched Fear of the Walking Dead might say that he Fear of the Walking in Fear of the Walking Dead, Morgan's character devolves, I believe, a lot by a lot. But I don't care about any of that. All I care about is how he was in the main show and in the main series. And honestly, Morgan was un, unwavering. I guess that could be a word. He was. I liked it. I liked that they killed Dwayne off. It felt crazy. I wish they had shown a back. What would you call it? What do you a hallucination or a backlash? What do you call it? I forgot the word for it. For it, when Dwayne had actually died and Morgan saw his wife eating him away, that would have been that would have been crazy. I would have loved that, but unfortunately, we did not get to see that. So it is what it is. But for me, Morgan felt like a real character, felt like a real person. He became insane. Many people go through this. They lose someone they love, and he lost two people he loved, and then he came back from being insane. He he lost his wife, and he lost his kid to his wife. It was just baffling. So it made sense for Morgan to go through that whole arc of his of insanity, why he had to clear it. I Many people hate Morgan because of all life is precious of that mindset that he had, but I don't. I love that. I absolutely love that. That one episode, Here's Not Here, is my favorite episode in the entire show. That episode is absolutely phenomenal. The actor, the other actor did a phenomenal job. I forgot his name, but the story about Crichton killing his family and then going back to prison, that still haunts me. I still think about that and I'm getting chills right now. That's why that episode is just so insane to me. It felt so real. So like that stuff happens. People do evil people genuinely do that out in this world. I'm just getting chills thinking about it. Here's Not Here is my favorite episode. Guys, let me know what is your favorite episode in the comments. Which episode of the show is your favorite in the comments? Just let me know. Mine is Here's Not Here and No Way Out. But apart from that, I will say I liked that Morgan survived the show. I liked when he went to Jadis's place and she said, I need to be alone. I need to be alone. It really showed, no matter how much Morgan tried to escape the cruel world, it always came back to him. He thought he had gotten away from him when he had found the kingdom and when he had found Benjamin. But when Benjamin died, he realized that there's no escaping it. I guess uh, you could kind of say it like that. There's no escaping it. Then he found Henry. No, then he trained Henry, and then he was not there to see Henry's death. Fortunately, I wonder how he would have reacted to that, seeing Henry dying on the pike. What would have happened? Probably would have seen red. Whisperers would be over then. So for me, Morgan is good. He's in between Magnus Group and Beth. Pamela Milton. Where do I put her? Okay, in the middle of okay. I'm just going to put her in the middle of okay. I don't know. She was a good villain, but she was a stereotypical villain. Classic political evil, which exists everywhere, even today, everywhere. I guess you could say she's kind of meant to show us what real life is like after all those things happen. After we forget, oh, this is the apocalypse, it's over. Then you come back to reality. You see the Commonwealth. There are still people, and there's still a system that uh, prison imprisons these people, and that is the Commonwealth system which Pamela Milton had created. The fact that she would have left everyone for dead behind the gates, yeah, for me, for me, to me, it just seems like she's meant to be portrayed as like professional level compared to guys like Governor and Negan. Like she does the same dirty work they do, but she just has someone take care of it. And she felt a little boring and a little bland towards the end. Her son died, and she just let the guy who was responsible for it. She just let Hornsby walk away like that. She wasn't able to get Eugene executed, and she shouldn't have even gone after Eugene because Eugene isn't the one that got her killed. It was Hornsby. He was the one that killed those people. So none of her stuff makes sense. But I think it's to show us what real life politicians would be like, how would they would fare in in these types of situations in in a zombie apocalypse. They would still be selfish and evil, just like they have always been, just like they were before this. They will be like this during the apocalypse and even after. That's what they were trying to show us. They will never change for the greater good. And I think the show just wanted to show us that in its own kind of way. Maybe I'm delving too deep into it. Maybe it isn't that deep. Maybe that is just me. But that's it. Pamela is an okay character for now, at least. She wasn't a compelling villain to end the story. She just wasn't. If they wanted a compelling villain, they should have gone with Hornsby. He would have been better, but should have given him a better backstory and reasoning as to why he wanted to overtake Pamela. Maybe. Okay, so the next character on the list is Judith. I put Judith in good. She was definitely a lot better than Carl. I don't mean overall, but like in hand to hand combat, she was clearly better than Carl as compared to Carl. Carl was kind of bad at hand to hand combat as against anyone, Walker, human, anyone. Judith was a very good character when she got into. She actually dies in the comics, and she actually dies very early on when Laurie is holding her and running away from the prison while the governor is attacking them. Laurie actually gets shot, and I believe baby Judith gets shot too, and that's how she dies. But in the show, it's different. In the show, she lives. She lives. She doesn't die. She lives in the ones who live as well, and we see her reuniting with Rick. And I don't know which one I prefer. I think I like the comic one better because it's a shock. It has more of a shock factor because you rarely ever see kids, let alone babies, dying in media and any fictional media. But they just killed her off like that. That was crazy. If they had done it in the show, it probably would have gotten a whole lot of backlash. That's probably why they left her in. I believe Judith could have been a lot better done if they had given her a little more screen time. And I feel like I did like the relation between Judith and Uncle Daryl. It was very wholesome, and it was great to see Little Ass Kicker and Big Ass Kicker together. When Judith gets shot in the shoulder, uh, mm, Daryl helps her just like how Shane had helped Rick when he blocks the hospital doorway. That is the same thing. It's a nice callback to season one of The Walking Dead, where we actually see that Shane had blocked the doorway to the hospital just so the dead wouldn't be able to get inside, or anyone wouldn't be able to get inside. And it's a great callback. I love those types of moments. I basically talked about the entire show at this point. One really annoying thing about these characters every single time though is that they believe that even though they are kids, they are still ready for the world. And they did this with Judith too. Judith too. She kept saying, "Oh, I'm ready. You don't think I'm ready," and it kept annoying me. They did not need to do that. They should have just let the characters be like, "Okay, Judith, you can handle things." That would have been a lot better. But yeah, Judith is a pretty well written character, in my opinion. And honestly, I don't have much to talk about RJ, so I'm going to put him right next to where Judith is. They'll be together. That's much better. RJ and Judith and RJ together, it makes much more sense since he could not have had much character development since he was a kid. Hmm. So that's that. Oceanside. I am counting Cindy as the entire Oceanside. They were an okay group, probably at the very top of the okay group. I liked them. They were good. But I did have one solid problem with that is that there is a plot hole, and that plot hole is that Negan killed a lot of the kids and a lot of the men at Oceanside. Now that can be possible. It must not have been Negan that ordered that, and he might not have known about it because, as far as we know, he doesn't kill children. Children are like a line that he's not willing to cross. We all know that. So, who ordered those children to get killed along with those men? We don't know that. Was it Simon? Was it Arat acting out on her own? We don't know that, and we might not ever get the answer. So, that I don't like that plot hole, but I did like the ocean side a lot better than the garbage people. The garbage people were meh. Ocean side was great. I liked it. I don't have much to say about these guys right now. I know I keep saying that, but I really don't. Oceanside was great with Cindy, but Cindy was definitely the most reasonable and the most likable character in that particular community. Everybody else was kind of Natanya was kind of a daughter. Her other daughters were kind of and Cindy's daughter, I believe, or someone of that girl, that little kid, she was annoying as fuck. I hated that kid. But then she later did grow out of that, and we did see that. Her with Tara. She became a friend of Tara's, so that was great. They did solid character development for Tara as well through Oceanside. I like that. That's why I'm putting them in okay. There was no wasted potential since there wasn't much potential here. Their backstory was kind of iffy and meh, but it is what it is. We'll move on. One of my favorite, personally favorite characters, at the way she's going to go in the very top of good. I hate that they killed off Sasha. I feel like Sasha is one of those people that could have gone throughout the apocalypse and survived till the very last moments. I feel like she should have survived the entire show, guys. She really should have survived the entire show. I feel bad because her character was great, the sacrifice was great, but I just wish they had done more with her, shown her with Abraham more. They had just gotten started, but I knew that that was going to happen, and I wish they had allowed her sister-like relationship with Rosita to have flourished a little bit more. I wish they did that. That would have been very, very good. I just feel really angry that they killed her off. They should not have killed Sasha off. I wish they had kept her for a little bit longer. Throughout the entire 11 seasons. I wish she had a spin-off show of her own as well. Sasha. She was a very compelling character compared to the rest of the group. But it is what it is. I I didn't like that Sasha moved on from Bob so quickly. I mean, she didn't. She didn't. She did not move on from Bob quickly, but that she forgot about Bob altogether. That's what I hate. When Abraham came into the picture, I don't like that at all. I wish they had like at least When she was hallucinating, I wish, or when she was remembering those moments, I wish she had remembered Bob as well with them. I wish she had remembered Bob because he was a crucial part of her uh, survivor story, along with Abraham as well. But the relationship had just formed as compared to where she had been Bob for a while before Bob got bit. And I also wish she remembered Tyrese a little bit more. I wish she did. But I guess I can't change that about the show. Only the writers can. Next up, we have Rosita. Rosita. I'll put Rosita in the bottom tier of okay. Now I know other people might disagree with me here, but Rosita to me was a good character that depended on guys way too much. Abraham, Spencer. She didn't depend on them for survival. She depended on them for socialism, and I did not like that one bit. So when her character flourished a little bit when she talked with Sasha, those types of scenes made me a little bit happier for her. When Eugene, when she got more scenes with Eugene as a friend, those types of scenes were amazing. They needed more of that than just having her fucking around like that. I did not like that one bit. I don't even understand how she got with Gabriel, how that happened, even though Father Gabriel is did become a beast in the end. But still, I wouldn't have thought that they would have turned every single male female duo into a relationship, but they did do that. Also, the trio thing with them, the three of them raising Coco was very, I mean, disturbing to say the least. Even if they were trusted adults, still. So, for those reasons, Rosita is going here, but I could have put Rosita in the good tier as well. She did do a lot. She she tried to kill Negan. She got Sasha killed indirectly. She got Eugene captured indirectly. She got Olivia killed, and and she is the reason that but 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 she is the reason that Eugene found Max or Stephanie. That was also a bit of a domino effect. That was a bit of a domino effect. So I guess I can put I'll put Rosita above Milton. I'll put her above Pamela Milton in the middle of the OK tier. And you know what? Maggie was still much better than the garbage people and Joe as a character. So I'll put and even Martinez. You know what? Come to think of him, Maggie was actually a very important character. I'll shift her over here. Even though she was not a good character, by the end of it, she was an important character. Okie dokie, look what do we have over here. Ricky do crimes. How does Negan say it? Ricky did do crimes. Oh boy, I have to put Rick here. Without him, we wouldn't have the show. Andrew Lincoln is a phenomenal actor. I wish we get to see more of him in future fictional media. I really do. I wish we get to see him in future projects. Anything Walking Dead related or not, he's an amazing and phenomenal actor. What he did, what he did here was nothing short of amazing, and he should have won multiple awards for this role, but he didn't win one. He should have been won multiple awards for this role. From the starting of season one, my favorite moment in the entire show, I've said this a lot, but my favorite moment in the entire show is probably when Andrew is walking down the hallway in the hospital clothes. That was for me like the best, the horror of horrors. Don't open dead inside. That was to me the best of it, the most of it, and the best of it. I really liked season one because of Andrew as well. Andrew and Shane's dynamic worked very well. This man is a phenomenal actor. Rick Grimes as a character is absolutely nothing short of amazing. Nothing short of amazing. The more I say, the more I have to say. From season on, and my favorite Rick Grimes moments are probably him biting out old Joe's throat, him uh, getting with Michonne, him killing Pete, him surviving and defeating the CMR, the CRM, sorry. Also, him reuniting with Judith, him reuniting with Carl. Uh, I don't know what else to say. There are many moments of Rick. Him defeating Negan, him defeating the what do you call them? Those guys, the cannibals of the Terminus group. There are so many great moments of this character, of Rick Grimes. Rick should be like in the top of fiction, like top 1% of fiction. He has suffered so much throughout the entire show. He lost Lori, he lost Shane, he lost Carl, and then he lost his family because he was taken by the CRM. And then finally, at the very end of The Ones Who Live, we finally get to see him reunite with his family. And it was an emotional moment seeing him look at RJ asking him, "Are you a brave man?" That was all awesome stuff. Also, Rick's relationship with everyone in the show was top tier. Him against the governor, great. Him against Negan, awesome. Him him becoming friends with Father Gabriel, absolutely fabulous. Him and Daryl are probably the best duo in the entire show. Maybe him and Shane could have been, but we'll never know. Also, the comic ending of Rick Grimes is a lot worse than the show. I feel like, yeah, they should have killed Rick Grimes off, but not in the way they did it. In the comics, Sebastian Milton kills Rick Grimes, but what they could have done is they could have like had a sacrificial, although it would have been cheesy and stereotypical, they could have had Rick sacrifice himself for Carl and everyone else, which they did kind of do in season 9, albeit it was a fake one, so I don't think it counts. His relationship with Daryl is absolutely amazing. Seeing him, Daryl trying to kill him with a knife, to him crying, to seeing Daryl crying for Rick because Rick died, it was all absolutely amazing. How this man did not win any awards is beyond me. His acting was as good, if not even a little bit better than Bryan Cranston's in Breaking Bad. I know these two get compared a lot, but they're so even. The acting skills are so. I wish we could see them together in a show someday. Bryan Cranston and Andrew Lincoln. I wish we do. Hopefully, maybe someday we'll get the chance to see them together. But there you go. Rick is the number one goated character. This was probably expected by everyone watching the video. Hmm. But Rick has flaws of his own. I feel like they made him too much of a pussy in season 7. I feel like Alexandria was not made what Rick weak as people think. I think it was the numbers of Negan, the 1000 guys that Negan had behind him that made Rick weak. So I I really believe they shouldn't have made Rick such a pussy in season 7. It kind of made it just wasn't him to do those things. I know there were reasons there. Uh, Negan had Daryl, Negan had other people at other times captured, but Rick just doesn't feel like the type of guy that will just fall in line. He just doesn't feel like that type of guy that will submit to anyone. He's always been a fighter. So to see him becoming someone's servant like that was actually insane. But I knew there were reasons behind it, and I can understand. But I just wish they hadn't gone to such an extent to do that. To do that. So yeah, he's by far the best character in the entire show. Maybe I haven't watched Daryl Dixon yet, the spin-off show. But maybe if I watch both the spin-offs of these two, maybe I can change my mind. But I don't think so. I believe Rick is probably number one, and Daryl is probably number two. Number three is another person coming up, hmm, Sebastian Merton. He was bad for the sake of being bad. I don't like characters like that, man. I just don't. He was the stereotypical rich, annoying brat who got what he deserved at the very end of the show, and I just don't feel like they had him. They basically that character was basically there to be hated, but I feel like it was more than that. The actor's acting was kind of bad. I'm not going to lie. It felt cheesy at times, and I just don't know. He was a very bad character. That's all I know. He was way too cheesy without being villainy enough, if it makes sense. Like if Negan was too cheesy. He tried acting smart and then he got what he deserved. I wish that Sebastian Merton never existed in the show, man. The character was such a bore. He was so stereotypical, it's laughable. That's why putting him in the trash category. The acting was kind of cheesy. There is no character development. There's no insight. He's just evil for the sake of being a rich spoiled brat, and it's boring after seeing villains that are beasts like the governor, Negan, Gareth. Where is Gareth? Okay, I can't see Gareth over here. Yeah, Gareth, Old Joe, and then seeing someone like Sebastian Milton as a villain, I'm like, oh please. Sure, he's a great villain. He's a great villain. So that's why these are the. I think that's the last person I'm going to be putting in trash. There are five people in trash, all of whom, apart from Carol, I know people can understand. Simon at the very top of the OK tier, right behind Maggie. The thing about Simon's character I liked is he was snarky. He was very snarky. He had a way with words. His interactions with Gregory in the entire series are the funniest things. Like the moment where Gregory is trying to get Maggie caught and goes to the closet and he sees whiskey. That was funny. I liked it. But Simon as a character, he was great. Great. Negan's right hand man, I guess many could say.
When Simon did die, I feel like that was kind of anticlimactic. He should not have died the way he died. Dying by being choked by Negan was meh, in my opinion. He shouldn't have died like that. He should he should have went out a warrior's path. Maybe he gets stabbed by Negan. Maybe just a better death, something more gruesome, more brutal for someone like Simon. Uh, as for his character arc, there isn't much to talk about. He's basically Negan's right hand man, and that's about it. That's all there is to Simon's character. He's Negan's right hand man. He does the dirty work, and I like what Simon did with the garbage people. Applauds for that. They deserved it, every single one of them. I wish he had gotten Jadis too. I wish he did. And yeah, Simon was a great leader after Negan. When Negan did come back, we did see Simon almost take over, but Dwight stopped that, only to then get stopped himself. I wish we had a backstory on Simon. We got one on Negan. I wish we had gotten one on Simon. The things he did. Who was he before the apocalypse? How many people did he kill after? There are so many characters who I wish we got a backstory on. Simon could go in the good tier, but I'll just place him there for now. I'm not going to make any changes. I'm satisfied with the list. Tara. Tara started off good, then she became great, then she got annoying. I think she was really crucial for Eugene's development in the series. I think when they got Tara to Oceanside, they should have never let Tara go like that. They should have never let her go. They should have just kept Tara at Oceanside, making friends with them, becoming friends with them, and then as we see the Saviors defeating uh, Rick and all and the group, we then get the moment that we got in season uh, 9, sorry, season 8, where we see Oceanside throwing that stuff. But instead of that, we see Tara leading the army along with Cindy and them having guns and them blazing everyone in their path. And Rick looks, sees Tara, gives a smile and nods. That would have been a much better outcome. Bringing her back just to send her to Oceanside again, and this time as an enemy, that was boring to me. But she was a good character. I liked her entire that we got her entire backstory right then and the with the governor. Her sister, her father or grandfather, and her niece. Everyone died. Her grandfather died in his sleep, and then the governor got him. And Lily Chambers died to the walkers, being ripped apart by them. And uh, her niece died to a walker bite, and the governor put her down. And the governor got put down himself by Tara's sister Lily Chambers. That stuff was great to see. That we got her entire backstory in one episode. Who she is, where she comes from. So we wouldn't have to wonder about it. Yeah, that's why Tara could have gone in the, and her death was unbelievably unexpected. I did not think Tara was going to be on the pikes. I really didn't. I was shocked. It was insane to me that she got piked like that.
It was absolutely shocking. I really thought they would have found a better way to make Tara go, especially since she was kind of an important character in the gist of things. But yeah, the Walking Dead does not give two fucks unless you are Rick, you or Daryl. You don't have any plot armor. T Dog, T Dog, T Dog had potential, but he turned out all right. That's what I'll say. He had potential, but he turned out all right. Really, I hate Carol, and I hate that they gave T Dog's role to Carol, the entire thing. That's why I despise the character. And we should have gotten a lot more of T Dog, but he did end up sacrificing himself for Carol. And we don't really get to know much about T Dog in the entire show. We don't know who he is. We only know that his name is Theodore Douglas. That's all we know. And people call him T Dog. That's all we know about him. Apart from that, we don't know anything else about him. We don't know where we came from. We don't know if he has a family. We don't know if we don't know who he was before all of this. We don't get a backstory. We don't get to know about who he was, and they barely ever even gave him lines. He was only on set for doing things on. He was just staying there and standing still, and not having anything to say. I will say his death was kind of badass that he helped Carol get to safely, but then he ended up dying at the hands of the Walker. He had already been bit when Carol was supposed to have his back. I believe what happened is Melissa McBride told the director that she wanted to stay in the season, and that's why they killed off T Dog instead. And also, the actor of T Dog did keep showing up late to set. That's what also happened, I believe. T-Dog's potential was wasted, but I'll place him above Milton. I'll place him above Milton, and should I place Jadis here at the very end? Yeah. And I'll also place him above Old Joe. He had a more potential, but he didn't get to live for it. Thanks to Melissa McBride. Thank you, Melissa McBride. Okay. My personal favorite character of the entire show. Where did he go? I'll place him behind Negan, but he's one of the best characters. I know I've been saying that a lot. Genuinely, from the earlier seasons, he's the only one who knows how to adapt to the new world. I wish we got to see more of Shane. I wish. I know not everyone can get the spotlight and not everyone can have the plot armor that Rick did. But man, he was just a beast, man. Him versus Negan or him versus the governor would have been absolutely insane to see. He would have smashed them both. Would have smashed Negan with his own Lucille, and would have dug out the governor's other eye. That's how crazy this motherfucker was. He was just a beast. He didn't deserve to go out the way he did. And I hate this is another reason I fucking hate Laurie Grimes. She's I just hate that character so much. Just looking at her makes me feel like angry. She pitched two brothers against each other and got what she wanted, and that was chaos for her. They should have just both left Laurie. Shane could have been with Andrea, and Rick could have found Michonne later. Now there are many what ifs with Shane. but we did not get to Shane for a long time, I know, and that's what matters in the show. But considering for how short of a time we had Shane, how little of a time we had Shane in this show, how much of an impact he had on everyone, including Rick, Daryl, and Judith. Because if it wasn't for Shane, Judith might not even be there. Judith might not even exist for all we know. Every single one of these characters, they especially Rick, he had a massive impact on Rick. If Shane hadn't gone rogue, maybe Rick wouldn't have ever became a Murder Jacket Rick, the Murder Jacket Rick that we saw in season 5. And he would have given the speech that he gave to Alexandrians and Deanna about surviving and how, in order to survive, you gotta fight for it. The same way, the same speech that Shane gave. For as little much as time as he was in the show, we got to know a lot about him. And if it hadn't been for Laurie and her cheating ass, I feel like these two brothers could have gotten along just fine. I seriously hate Laurie Grimes, man. I just hate her. Shane was a beast. Him versus Negan, he solos. Him versus Governor, he solos. He probably would have beaten the Whisperers as well. I know I may be overestimating Shane right now, but he was a beast. He was meant to adapt to the world of the zombie apocalypse, and he did that, and we saw that. Now, did he make some dumb decisions, such as opening the barn and killing all those walkers? Was it not really dumb, but dumb? Yes. It was not dumb because they had to kill the walkers, but it was dumb because they did end up finding Sophia and they found her in a barn, in that barn, all because of Shun. So if it was not for her, Carol would have probably come around and believed that her daughter was probably dead and moved on. But or maybe she would have kept searching. But we all knew that Sophia was dead. We all knew that. The impact Shane had on Rick is actually crazy to think about. We wouldn't have gotten prison Rick, murder jacket Rick, Alexandria Rick, and Savior War Rick if it wasn't for Shane. Maybe in an alternate universe, Shane doesn't actually kill Rick and they just reconcile right then and they hug it out like brothers and they walk back and it's a massive FU to Laurie. I would have loved that. They both give the finger to Laurie and it's just over. Bros before house. But yeah, I wish we got some back. And that scene of Shane and Rick in Rick's hallucination was awesome. Him asking how his little girl was, him telling him he needs that animal. I wish we got more of. I really wish we got more of many of these characters, man. I really wish we did. Okay, so Shane is goated. Who's next? Last two characters left, guys. Tyrese. I'll put Tyrese above Magnus Group and right behind Morgan. Here we go. And the reason for this is Tyrese's character was really good. He had a good impact on people. His death had impacted Sasha and other people in the group, and Rick Grimes as well. His fight with Rick, him losing his girl at the prison, who was unknowingly murdered by Carol, and then finds out later him having to see Lizzie get shot by Carol. That must have been another form of trauma for him. Him protecting Judith. He was a very important character. Him being morally right, him choosing
to do the right thing even though he didn't need to. I like that. There were very few characters in this show who did that. Morgan did it for a while. Tyrese did it. Glenn did it until he had to kill the people at the outposts. But Tyrese's death was a little too early. I wish we had gotten to see more of him. I wish. And Tyrese's death was all for nothing because Noah ends up dying anyway later in the season. They could have done a lot more with Sasha and Tyrese together. I wish they did. They didn't. They pitched them with lovers, but I wish they showed a deeper bond, a brother sister bond between Sasha and Tyrese. They needed to do that. They did do that at in the in at the prison and at Woodbury, where we saw uh, Sasha and Tyrese at the prison doing the right thing, and at Woodbury they also decided they were not going to kill anyone and protect the children. They also did the right thing over there. Yeah, Tyrese is another one of my favorites. He could have been goated, but Tyrese just didn't last long enough. He did have an impact, but his impact was not as big as Shane's, unfortunately. I'm just thinking what could have happened about Tyrese if Tyrese did not get bit, how things would have turned out. Yeah, so many things would not have happened if Tyrese did not get bit. Sasha wouldn't have gone rogue. Maybe the group would have had another member to fight off against the Saviors. Maybe uh, Tyrese would have been the one to show the path to Rick and would have said, no, we don't have to kill the people at the outpost. Come on, Rick, there's got to be another way. And maybe they would have never came in contact with Negan. We really don't know, man, the things that could have happened. So that's that. Tyrese is uh, after Morgan and it be in between Magma's group. The last and the last person I have is the Whisperers. I am going to Alpha and her Whisperers, Alpha, Beta, and the entire group of Whisperers. I liked it. It was good. Something new. After we had gotten used to seeing so many humans and zombies, we saw something that was kind of a mix. Humans wearing zombie skins, blending with the zombies. It was very creative, blending in with the zombies and using the zombies. We didn't get to see that too often. I liked Alpha. Her character was awesome. Actress, she did a great job at portraying Alpha. Her relationship with Lydia was also very iffy. I like I like when they show that not every parent can take care of their child the right way. Like how they showed Alpha shouldn't have done what she did to Lydia. She could have found another way, but she didn't. One thing I did not like about the Whisperers was that leaving beside Alpha and Beta in the uh, for the first time they get introduced, we don't see any other leader in the group that is too important. Like how we saw Negan earning his respect way up. We didn't see anyone like that, and I don't like that. I didn't like that. Like how we saw that girl who was Adam, who who had a nephew named Adam. She killed her own sister to protect Alpha. Wish we had seen more of those characters. The guy that spat the food right back out at Carol's face. The guy that Aaron tortured. There were many complex things about the Whisperers, which they could have delved deeper into. But the concept was great. And there are a few theories that Lizzie was actually talking to the Whisperers, and that they were telling her to do the things she did. Now, if that was confirmed to be, however, I don't believe that's the actual case. And the Whisperers were kind of broken, but also pure evil at the same time.
Now they could have done things a little bit differently. Something I would have liked, I don't know if it would have worked, is they could have introduced the Saviors and the Whisperers together and made it so Rick has two threats to deal with, Negan and the zombies. But what happens is that they they could have turned against each other, and there could have been a three-way fight between Rick, Whisperers, and Saviors. That would have been awesome if we actually got. I don't think I've ever seen this concept ever applied anywhere, where two villains fight against one hero, and then the two villains turn against each other, and they all three fight together against each other. I've never seen this, but I do want to see it somewhere. But yeah, guys, the group was absolutely insane, and the fact that Maggie copied Alpha's tactics later on in season 10 or 11, I believe, against the Reapers, that was also great to see. To see that they can learn from other groups and use their tactics against them. Now, you guys may have noticed that I don't have every single character here, like Diana is absent, Alden is absent, Gavin is absent, many characters are not absent, but if I had made a video regarding every character, it would have taken me like a long time, 6+ hours. So maybe I will make another video, but with those other characters that are left, that may be not as important as these are, but maybe they are in the spin-off shows, maybe something like that. We'll see about that. So see you guys later. This is my ranking. Here you go. You can see it. Starting from the GOAT Rick, ending to Sebastian Milton, very iconic, very ironic, sorry. I will got everyone in between. Andrea is the worst character, Rick is the best, which is again very ironic. The beasts, the antagonists, which are beasts, are Negan, Governor. Gareth is another good one, and the Whisperers are good as well. So there you go, guys. That's my list. Uh, I'll think about the other characters like Alden and Gavin and those guys, whether I have to upload a video regarding them and when I can, if I have to. You guys just let me know if you want to see that, the other characters being ranked in this specific list. See you guys in the next one.